Let's start our day. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call, please?
Mayor Diekman.
Here.
President Percival.
Here.
Vice President Bull. Here. Councilman Capabianca.
Here.
Councilman Long.
Here.
Councilwoman Guy. Councilman Sidlow.
Here.
Mr. Pacenti. Here. Mr. Wills.
Here.
Ms. Catania. Here. Chief Murray is not here. Okay, you do have a quorum.
Councilman Snyder.
Perry.
Perry's
You're
here.
today. And you're here also. Oh, my God.
Everyone's here. Did we get Rob?
Yes.
She does. Yes, she does.
In and out.
Council's had an opportunity to look at the previous minutes. What's your pleasure, please?
Make a motion to pass last month's minutes. Second.
Any questions on the motion?
I don't think the microphone's
You have to turn your mic on. No questions on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Mrs. Higgins, do you have any correspondence?
I do. Excuse me, this is funds that came in through the month of July through this office. Licenses and inspections, $11,257.50. From the police department for parking tickets and reports, $30. From the police department for a new officer, $450. A lien, $482.22. Pendelco, half of the crossing guard fee for the last year, $7,724.15. The recorder of deeds, $6,512.10. A refund for an overpayment, $65.97. Court financial services, $284.07. The tax collector, Ed Fisher, $13,503.88. The tax claim bureau, $9,396.10. And district court, $62.39. For total income through this office for the month of July of $49,768.38. And that is all I have.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Start that timer yet.
I did not.
I have to give the police report first.
Okay.
The police reports were July 1st through July 31st. There were 5 crimes reported. 1 motor vehicle theft, 2 identity thefts, 1 criminal mischief, and 1 fraud. 219 calls for service. 10 suspicious persons, 8 medical emergencies, 48 assists other agencies, 4 disorderly groups, and 65 checks of the woodlot. There were 4 automobile accidents. It never ceases to amaze me. 16 traffic details, 17 motor vehicle stops, 8 traffic citations, and 10 warnings. And the chief has left a message. July was a very busy month for the PD, as police were tasked with extra patrols of the woodlot, as well as several ongoing traffic complaints to the borough. We do have, the 2 items alone have created an additional 81 police incidents during July. All right, you can flip it a little.
Go ahead.
25 July 2021, the Honorable Shirley Percival, President, Parkside Borough Council, Borough of Parkside. Dear President Percival, as they say, one door closes and another door opens. The door of my life serving the citizens of the Borough of Parkside is about to close. I find this to be bittersweet, since I have spent quite a few years in quite a few positions assisting the public during the time that I have spent in Parkside. Over the years, I have met numerous good people, including United States presidents, senators, and congressmen on both the federal and the state level. Of course, the true servants of the citizens are the numerous individuals who serve in local office. They do the best they can to make their communities a better place to live. They are motivated by a sense of duty, selflessness, and love for the boroughs and townships that they represent. For these elected officials, I hope for fair winds and following seas. I would like to offer special thanks to three of our Parkside Council families, Mr. Vicente, Lisa Catania, and John J. Wills, Esquire. Never in my tenure has any one of these three individuals ever told me they were too busy to answer my questions and provide me with advice. All three are consummate professionals who serve in an honorable way. Of course, I would really be amiss if I did not mention our iconic borough secretary, Linda D. I don't know if Linda kept track of the number of times while I was council president that I actually fired her, but I think it's 5. Linda, a special thanks to you for everything you've done to help me in my years. Of course, what can I say about the Parkside Police Department? Over the past several years, the department has found itself being criticized by those who feel that the police are the enemy. These criticisms are unfounded, and it has been a pleasure to stand up for our officers. Each officer in our department, professional and well-trained, is on the street to protect the citizens and businesses here in the town, and they do so in a fair and even-handed manner. Of course, these departments are reflections of leadership, and Parkside has had the good fortune to have two of the most well-respected lawmen in Delaware County to lead the department, past Chief John Egan and present Chief Thomas Murray. I would ask that whomever becomes the mayor in 2022 has the wherewithal to defend the police, regardless from where the attack is leveled. If you don't have the courage to do that, you don't deserve the job. Of course, government, like any other business as such, I have encountered people who, driven by ego, arrogance, and self-aggrandizement, seem to have lost sight of the true foundation of government, as stated in the title of the 1790 Whig tract, Vox Populi, Vox Dei, the voice of the people, the voice of God. To those elected officials, I have some advice. Keep your eyes on the horizon, for there will always be a gathering storm. And when that storm engulfs you, you will learn, as Jay Gatsby did, that the only thing you can do is beat on, boats against the current, driven ceaselessly into the past. And to the citizens of Parkside, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. Olivia and I have been asked where we're going. Who knows? We are going somewhere, and when we get there, we may journey somewhere else. One of the benefits of facing the future as a blank canvas is that you can paint your own picture of how you want your life to be. It can be said that we have nowhere to go, yet we have everywhere to go. Anyway, the adventure lies not in the destination, but in the journey. In November, registered voters will go to the polls to choose a new mayor. Until that time, it is the duty of Borough Council to appoint someone to that position. I hope the council will remain above the political fray that often breaks out when political seats become open. There is a set procedure allowing the filling of the vacancies in the office of the mayor. I'm sure Mr. Wills will explain how that procedure is carried out. I would respectfully ask council to consider the appointment of Robert Powers Sr. as the interim mayor. Mr. Powers has worked closely with the police department and Chief Murray in Mr. Powers' position as fire marshal, emergency management coordinator, and health inspector. Having served on council, Mr. Powers is well aware of the relationship between council and the police department. Mr. Powers is well positioned for the appointment. Now, Madam President, I am formally announcing that I will vacate the position of mayor at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, 31 August. Sincerely yours, Thomas G. Deaton, Mayor of Borough Parkside.
And you did it under 10 minutes.
Okay.
I would like to thank the mayor for his many years of dedication as a police officer, firefighter, treasurer to our fire company, council member, and president and mayor. You will be missed. I would accept a motion with regret to accept the resignation.
I'll make that motion. One second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. At this time, I will remind council that effective August 31st, I will be serving as an interim mayor until a new interim mayor is appointed. Please be advised that we will accept letters of interest with a resume from any resident that is interested in the position of interim mayor whose term will expire January 3rd, 2022. Qualifications are as follows. Residents in the borough for at least 1 year, be a registered voter, and must not have a felony criminal record. Letters of interest with a resume must be sent to the borough office with a deadline of noon, Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. I will ask Mrs. Higgins to scan all letters of interest with resumes to all council members on September 15th and council to be ready at the September 22nd council meeting to make recommendations and be prepared to vote for an interim mayor. We will then make arrangements to have that person sworn in that evening. I will also ask that this information be placed on our website and social media. Council members may, of course, take their own personal time to research any prospective candidate for this interim position. Mayor, do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Moving on. Does anybody have any questions concerning agenda items only? Agenda items only. Hearing none, I hope council bears with me. I have again a lengthy report this evening. We will have 2 budget meetings coming up. The first one is Tuesday, September 14th, 6:30 p.m. here at Borough Hall. The second date will be October 12th, again on a Tuesday at 6:30. I would ask Mrs. Higgins to advertise these meetings and also for them to be put on our borough's website. I would like to thank Councilman Capabianco and Officer Pat McEwen for pulling down a tree branch to avoid a potential dangerous situation during a pending storm at the beginning of the month. The woodlot dedication has been set for September 18th, 1 p.m. at the woodlot, and I would ask Councilman Long to look into providing refreshments for that event. I'd like to take a moment to thank junior councilperson Sarah Powers, whose term has ended. Unfortunately, during the last year, because of COVID, she was unable to proceed with some of her projects, and I'm sure we all wish her well in her senior year at Sun Valley. I have been informed that we were not chosen for the Healing the Planet grant through the Giant Corporation. They had more than 230 applications, and I'd like to thank Ms. Catania for all her help with this grant. As many of you know, I've been following what's called the fireworks bill, which is now House Bill 1628. It is currently in the House Local Government Committee. This bill will allow local governments to enact an ordinance to regulate hours in which the fireworks would be permitted, set violation offense fines of $100 to $500 for the first offense, and subsequent offenses would be as much as $500 to $1,000. And I'll continue to watch this bill as it proceeds. As council will note this evening, we will pass our MMO plan for the police pension. We budgeted $55,134. This obligation is $118,160, which is more than double than what we projected. Council will also be reminded that many of our various insurance policies were renewed at the beginning of the month. I will encourage limited spending again. As we're in the last quarter, revenue will slow down to a stop. The budget in this category is now short $63,026. The Edgemont Avenue streetlight improvements has started, and that was from our CDBG grant from last year, and we're all excited to see that start. I have received information from Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission concerning the design, procurement, and finance of regional streetlight replacement programs for LED streetlights. Please note the word finance. Many of the larger communities in our area, such as Aston, Brookhaven, City of Chester, Eddystone, and many other communities have participated. Researching this information, I would like to point out there is a fee of 8% which does not include engineering, surveys, legal issues, field audits, design, or other expenses. This also does not include any street lights, poles that need to be added, conduits, wiring, light heads. This is not a free program. As far as financing this program, it has been pointed out numerous times that we have 2 outstanding loans, and we can only stretch that taxpayers' dollars so far. It has also been pointed out numerous times over the last 20 months. Motions have failed to be carried. The issue was tabled indefinitely May 27th, 2020. This subject was once again brought up May 26, 2021, in which I asked Mr. Sidlow to look for free or non-matching grants. We have numerous other financial issues to deal with in conjunction to the budget, such as our MMO that will pass this evening, the sinkholes on Edgemont Avenue, and we are short an enormous amount of money for that project, major insurance program premiums that have been paid, and let's not forget the police heater and air conditioner. I would once again ask Mr. Sidlow, who I do not believe has followed up on this issue, to look for free money or non-matching grants for any type of upgrades to our street lights so that we can finally put this issue to rest. Any questions so far?
Yes, I would like to speak on the Regional Streetlight Procurement Program, please.
Sure.
Okay, so the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. This is an organization that helps 9 counties in Pennsylvania and New Jersey make planning decisions, make good decisions, make sustainable decisions, make big picture decisions. In 2015, in 2018, and now in 2021, they have run a regional streetlight procurement program. Basically what they do is they get a bunch of different municipalities who want to replace their streetlights, and they bulk purchase those fixtures, and they bulk purchase the electrical contractor to put them in, and they also bulk purchase an engineer to do the engineering and the design. Okay? It is the most affordable way to get new streetlights. Now, in the 1 week that we had between the budget meeting for the money we received from the government until the week it was then taken away, I had done some investigation in the streetlights. I spoke with Lenai Electric, and they provided me with a map of all the streetlights. And this map, and in addition, a spreadsheet, which I did not print out, but that they provided to me, showed me all the streetlights in the borough. There's a little sticky on the right-hand side. There are 114 streetlights in the borough, 9 of which are LED. The rest are all high-pressure sodium lights. They were installed in 2002. That makes them 19 years old, which is beyond the expected lifespan of a light bulb. High-pressure sodium light bulbs gradually fade. We don't even realize how bad the street lighting is in our community because we have gotten used to poor street lighting in this community. Okay, so the other thing that I learned when I was researching before I had to stop researching streetlights is I received a quote from Parkside, from Lenai Electric to Parkside Borough for 11 streetlights, and the key takeaway in that letter was, I really think you should talk to your borough engineer about your desire for LED streetlights. She is versed in the CoStars program, which is the program for bulk purchasing and avenues to fund improvements. These prices are not indicative of costs of a larger project. Purchasing power changes when you are buying for the entire borough, or when 15 municipalities in the Delaware Valley are buying in bulk. This is absolutely 100% the best way for us to purchase streetlights, an investment that is going to need to be made. Okay, we can't continue to use these streetlights. Plus, we will save about $10,000 a year. So I would like to make a motion that I'm not even saying we request to be in the streetlight procurement program yet. I just want to do a free feasibility study. Free. That's your favorite price, Mrs. Percival.
You bet.
Okay? And We will provide utility bills, and we will provide this map and any information we know about the streetlights to the Regional Planning Commission, and they will provide a free estimate of how much money we could save a year and how much it would cost to install streetlights if we went forward. If we like the price then we could choose to have engineering work done, about $40 a light, and then we could choose if we want to move forward with construction. There are multiple steps along the way where we have the choice of go or no go.
Mr. Sidlow, let me mention that I have the contract in front of me.
The Regional Planning Commission contract?
Yes,
Okay.
in speaking with their representative. Let me point out, there is nothing free, okay? And it states that.
Right, but we don't
Here-
have-
Don't, please. We have tabled this, and in case you missed the date, this was tabled
We have never
indefinitely,
discussed the Regional Planning Commission streetlight.
May 27th, 20th. It was brought up again May 26th of this year, in which we tabled going any further.
No, we did
And-
not vote on
and
anything.
I am-
brought
I'm
up for
sorry,
I brought it
but-
up for discussion. We did not vote on anything. I said
Are
at
you-
that time
are
that
you-
that I would bring it up later. You're cutting me off, so I'm gonna cut you back, right back.
Oh, you're such a gentleman. Let me again mention to you that we are now $63,026 in the hole.
Okay,
because
you
of
can
our
throw out
minimum.
large numbers. Look, this is a decision that we will make next year. All I want is for
Mr.
us to.
Sidlow, the next year you deal with it. Thank you so
All
much.
right, well, I expect that to be the case.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we have a feasibility study done by the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission to determine what it would cost and how much we could save if we were to invest in streetlights in this community.
I'll second.
Can I ask a question before we go any further?
Questions on the motion?
Question on the motion, yes.
You talked about the life expectancy is 19 years for a bulb. But yet, last month, you contradicted that the air conditioning unit in the police department, at 20 years old, it can still go on. I don't understand why you're good for a light bulb for 19, but you're not good for an air conditioner that's 20-some years old.
Except the air conditioning in the police station was defined by the Borough Council President or by the engineer as 2 years old at the last meeting, so that is not an accurate statement.
Is that true?
What I said was
No,
that
I'm
the
confused.
unit itself was 19 years old. However, there was a coil replacement done 2 years ago.
Okay,
Correct.
so it's just a coil that was
That's
replaced 2
correct.
years.
Not the
unit.
motherboard, nothing else.
So that, my question is still, why is the life you're okay with the life expectancy of
Different.
19 years old?
Different items have different life expectancies.
Oh, okay, depending on what you want. And I don't understand, as President Percival said, that we are in the hole for $60-some thousand.
I'm not asking
Well, I'm
to
just
allocate
saying.
$1 right now. I'm not asking
Mr.
to allocate
Sidlow, will you
$1.
please let the
I'm just
council member
asking, the
ask a
question is
question on
that-
the motion?
I'm confused that you're confused with the money because we're gonna have to come up with $200-some thousand to fix a street. And we only have $120,000 that we got from the government, which we now have to come up with $80,000. We've already received multiple, I believe Mrs. Higgins says, multiple phone calls from residents about the sinkhole on Edgemont Avenue. PennDOT has called, want to know when we are going to start this project. And otherwise, they're going to shut the road down, which now means 18-wheelers and buses are going to be going through West Forest View, West Elbon, East Chelton, all these streets if it's shut down. I think we need to take care of the street before we take care of the light bulb. That light bulbs are still going to be shining now, 25 years, 30 years, but the road has to be fixed now. I just think, I understand what you're coming from for lights. Yes, I'm all saving for money. But I think we need to look at the bigger picture here, that we have a sinkhole on Edgemont Avenue that's going to affect every resident in this town. Probably even with, come next year with taxes, so that we're going to have to raise taxes next year to cover all this. So
Okay,
that also
well-
means we're going to raise taxes for the 19-year-old light bulbs.
Well, if that's what it takes to improve the infrastructure of the community, then that's what we have to do.
Well,
Like,
I'm sure the the taxpayers, and I'm one of them, as everybody is on this board, is absolutely thrilled to know that if it takes us paying more taxes for a light bulb, then you think that's worthy.
No, it's for infrastructure. He just described.
Does
he
anybody
just
else
described
have
infrastructure.
any
I
other
understand.
questions
I
on the
understand.
motion?
Infrastructure in this community.
I
Does-
understand infrastructure.
And
I
that
understand
has
all
to
that.
do with the,
Does-
with the
You have to look
wastewater
at the
system,
roots
has to do
and
with
the
the light,
structure.
street lights. We have to invest in the infrastructure.
Does anybody
Yes.
else have any questions on the motion?
Yes, quick question.
Please.
The feasibility study, just to be clear, is there a cost or is there not a cost? I'm trying to understand because I'm getting two different answers from both people.
No cost feasibility study. It's the first line.
Any other questions on the motion? Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call vote, please?
So this is free, just a real
I'm
quick.
sorry, Mrs.
The feasibility study is free. No
Yeah,
cost.
if you look at the page I passed out, the first line on the back page says, no cost feasibility study showing estimated savings, project costs, rebates, and financial payback.
Would you please do a roll call vote, please? I'm sorry,
Councilwoman
I'm
Guy?
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just have one more question on the
Councilman
free-
Long.
The free, whatever you call it.
Feasibility study.
You're saying that it's free with, what's it say? I'm sorry.
There's no width. It's phase one deliverables, no cost feasibility study.
And would you like to address, Mr. Sidlow, the 8% that in their contract that says there's a 5% project development contract cost, which means if they develop the program, we pay 5%? Or would you like to address
Well,
the
that
three,
seems-
would you like to address the 3% of the construction contract cost that will be billed to us
Recycling twice monthly, so it would not be weekly as it is currently. This is twice monthly, would be $45,000, $46,350, $48,000 for years 1, 2, and 3. If we did it once weekly, they're giving me the same price to do it once weekly versus twice monthly. If we were doing bulk trash pickup, I've also received numbers for that, $21,000, $23,000, $25,000. If we do, I'm not going to talk about the tipping fees because that doesn't change anything, so I'm not going to announce those. If we do, it's interesting, if we do once a week pickup from from October the 16th to March 31st, and then do twice week pickup for trash for the remainder of the year, it comes out to be the same as if they were collecting trash weekly. So that's the low bid of B&L services. I will have a recommendation. I wanted everybody to take a look at these, see if there's any questions. You can email me. I'll answer those questions at the next meeting, and we'll put a recommendation. These are merely for budget purposes at this point.
Does council want to accept the bids and determine the frequency of regular trash, recycling, and bulk trash this evening?
I think we should digest this for a month and decide at the next meeting.
Vice President?
Laxton is, or I'm sorry, not Laxton, B&L Disposal Services has served us very well. The pricing seems to be remarkable, even compared to the other and our legacy costs at this point in time. I did not give them any chance to entertain doing something different. And I think doing the weekly pickup for the recycling would be a huge, a lot of people would really like that, and it doesn't give them a chance to walk back from it, so.
I totally agree. When I saw these figures, I was quite surprised, and I was also surprised that we only had 2 haulers bidding. So the trash business must be a tough one currently. And Mr. Sidlow, you want to wait? Councilman Schwager, what's your pleasure?
Just to clarify, the 161 for year 1 and the 65, 67, that is for the twice a week currently that we have as of right now.
That's
for
correct.
regular trash.
That's correct.
Okay. And then for the special bulk, currently we're doing 3 items a week, 3 items each Friday per week, but we used to have once a month. Now this is for twice a year.
Twice a year, it would be 6 items
Okay.
per pickup.
Or
So, one of the things you have to remember is this is not just
I'm just trying to
picking
make sure.
up the trash. You also have an additional cost for the amount of trash that you take. So what we have found is that we see quite a bit of bulk items. Most municipalities around the area actually charge for bulk pickup. So you would have to call and you would pay a specific fee to have your those bulk items picked up. So we're finding that people are actually bringing it into town. So to try to curb that, we just decided that we would try to put something together that you would have, versus having weekly, you would have twice annually, and then if someone has something that needs to go, it would be a specific cost of $50 for that particular pickup.
Councilman, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Councilman Capabianca?
Well, I think you know I have issues with B&L,
Yes.
so I want to see what their employees' laws are and what they have done.
Okay, but we're talking about the pickup and...
I'll stop it right now. I'll go with Sid Lowe, wait a month on it.
Okay. My feeling, I'm afraid, is the same as the Vice President's. B&L gave us an excellent price. I'd like to see twice a week pickup. weekly recycling. And then going on to the bulk trash would be monthly. Councilman Long?
I guess we'll wait a month because I'm not wild about B&L for the safety of the residents of Parkside.
Mrs. Guy?
I don't mind waiting a month. I pretty much agree with you, President, first of all, on the frequency. And I found B&L to be spectacular, and especially when I heard Brookhaven complaining about their trash until they moved to B&L.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
The curbside recycling, does that include the disposal costs, or is that just collection?
Just collection.
That's just collection, okay, and so how are disposal costs paid for? Or like, does the hauler choose the recycling plant, or do we choose the recycling plant?
Delaware County Solid Waste.
But not for
Thank you.
recycling.
Yeah, in a lot of cases.
The hauler chooses the.
The hauler currently
The hauler
goes
chooses
into
location, yeah.
Philadelphia.
Because recycling is high right now, they're
betcha.
getting good values for it. So the hauler chooses where it goes, and then we pay whatever is the cost per month. There's no,
We're paying approximately, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, we're paying over $90 a ton recycling. Am I close?
Pushing 100, exactly.
Pushing 100 now?
53 for regular.
Okay.
okay. And I also think that bulk trash should be something that each individual pays when they have a bulk trash, instead of it being into the annual trash fees. I also think that multifamily properties should pay a higher, this is more for budgeting purposes and for trash collection fee purposes, but multifamily buildings should pay a higher amount of money per property than single-family residents do.
Well, we have, the bid is on the table, and I understand there's been problems with B&L, but they are the low bidder. Now, there's only one other person, one other company that bid, and if everybody could see, they're over $40,000 higher progressively on on the yearly trash pickup for year 1, 2, and 3. I don't, their single stream recycling is double, as well as the twice a month and weekly. Their once weekly recycling is 3 times as much as B&L. My suggestion is we mull it over, and if we want to table this, but we need to accept the bid next month, with no question, it needs to be accepted next month. We hold a bond for each of these companies that needs to be turned back to them or accepted.
Councilman Swigert, what did you finally vote on that? Hold off or go ahead with it?
Hold off for a month.
Thank you.
Would council like to make a motion to table this for 1 month?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions on the motion? Mrs. Higgins, I hate to keep working you tonight.
Not a problem. Okay, Councilwoman Guy. Yes. Councilman Sidlow.
Aye.
Councilman Swigert.
Yes.
Councilman Long.
Yes.
Councilman Capabianco.
Yes.
Vice President Bull.
No.
No? And President Percival.
No.
No. You lose.
Okay, that's tabled, and we'll put that on the agenda again, please, for September's meeting. Ms. Catania?
I will move on.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
The Edgemont Avenue sinkholes is on this agenda. I think we've already discussed that. I will tell you that despite your 2 phone calls with PennDOT, I have not heard from PennDOT. So I'm sure they don't want to hear my argument that it's their pipe that they put in the ground and they should be responsible to maintain it, which is our argument all along. We do not have an agreement with PennDOT, and because they put a strike-off letter out back in 1990, you're assuming the responsibility for that for that storm sewer. So I am sure I will not be hearing from PennDOT because they don't want to hear my spiel. That being said, I'm going to move on to the police HVAC system. I apologize, I don't have this in writing. I do have an email from Paradigm who not only did an investigation of the system, they also did a scan. So they went up and to see where there were areas that we possibly could be either losing heat or gaining heat, or conditioned air, I should say, whether we're losing it or gaining it up in the attic. So Joe indicates we didn't find any smoking gun. The HVAC issue, the result of several items, including an unvented attic, disturbed insulation at the ceiling, excessive length of flexible duct, pink flexible duct, damaged insulation on duct mains, non-functional outdoor air operated dampers, and end-of-life equipment, so the equipment's getting older. What he's saying is we will recommend installation of an attic exhaust fan, an attic intake fan, replace missing insulation at the ceiling, replace flexible 90s, so there are 90-degree angles in the system. He's suggesting versus flexible to use rigid 90s, replace the long lengths of flexible duct that is kinked, balance the airflows to specified values. When it was designed, there were specific values for each one of the air dampers here, or excuse me, the air vents here. They need to be readjusted because they've not been adjusted for quite some time, and replacement of the end-of-life equipment. He said the most effective short-term solution would be to do the installation of the exhaust fan, which is actually in ERS's report, and replace the missing insulation in the ceiling.
Can we proceed with that? And also, I do have a question in which the gas furnace in the police department, for the police department, is replaced.
And I think that's one of the end-of-life equipment that he's referring to.
Sounds like me, end of life.
End of life.
End of life equipment.
So he said that he could provide, he can give us the spec for the attic exhaust and the intake so that we don't have any issues with the amount of the volume of air that's going in and out of the attic. We certainly don't want to have a positive or negative
Okay.
attic pressure upstairs, or in here, quite frankly. That's all he had to report.
So
I should be getting that report this
And
week.
we will get that with a cost factor so we can move forward with that for the police.
Correct.
Thank you.
So, can I ask some, are you done or can I ask questions? Or are you still on that topic or are you moving on to the next
No,
topic?
I was going to move on.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So you said Joe from Paradigm?
Paradigm
What is Paradigm?
Engineering. He's an MEP company in engineering,
Okay.
electrical and plumbing company,
Okay.
consulting engineers.
Okay, so that's your...
That's my
your
MEP guys.
Your partner, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And was the term air sealing used at all?
Not in this short email that he sent. Whether it'll be in his report, I don't know.
Okay.
He hasn't sent me the written report. He just wanted to give me the details of what they found.
So we have a written report still to come?
There's still, it should be here this week, I said.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll share that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We good? I can move on?
Um,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay. So I just wanted to mention that all but one junction box is in for the lighting. So right now the cable's in, the junction boxes are in. We're expecting the delivery of the actual lights in mid to late September. Right now, I think it's the 24th is when it's scheduled. And once they deliver them, they'll install them. By the end of September, we should have operational lights for that section of the project. So another phase of the project completed. Paving contractor will be in town next week. He is scheduled for Wednesday. If it rains, we may have to push that because he can certainly mill when it's rained, but he cannot pave when it's raining. Otherwise, I can report general property.
Thank you, Ms. Catania. Does anybody have any other questions for Ms. Catania concerning her report?
I would like to say that President Percival's price of free is her favorite price, and that I am a building performance analyst. I would have identified pink ducts and voids in insulation and been able to diagnose age of equipment, all for the cost of no money, and I'm professionally able to do that. So unfortunately, the engineering report that we have that we're paying for could have been done for free. However, I was prevented from going into the attic by Mr. Capabianco at the insistence of Mrs. Percival. So
Thank you, Mr. Sidlow. Does anybody have any questions for our
I'd like to
engineer?
add on to that, please. Anybody right here can go in my office right now. I'm a certified HVAC and recovery. I know what was going up there, and I told President Percival exactly what was going on. So we don't need Councilman Sidlow's advice on anything. And I did not let him go up there because he was unauthorized to go up. So this is my 2 cents.
Let's move on to the solicitor's report. Mr. Wills.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As council is aware, our collective bargaining agreement with the FOP will terminate on December 31st of this year. Tomorrow, the Police Negotiation Committee and myself as legal counsel will be having our initial meeting with representatives of the FOP in the hopes of reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. It is my preference, if possible, that we reach that agreement sooner rather than later so that we can have some hard numbers for the Budget Committee to work into next year's budget. And we all are aware that next year's budget will be a rather challenging one. I will keep, certainly, council apprised of those negotiations. Number 2, as council may be aware, the deadline to file a tax assessment appeal for 2022 had passed as of August the 1st of this year. Thus far, I have received notice of 3 pending tax assessment appeals concerning borough property here in Parkside Borough. That is certainly a good thing that only 3 property owners have appealed their assessments. The bad news is that out of one of those 3, it may be the largest property assessment in the borough. That is the old church up there at 2801 Edgemont Avenue. That property is presently assessed at $939,000. So that is clearly perhaps the largest taxable assessment we have in the borough. That is under appeal. There is an initial hearing scheduled next month. As is generally traditional, the school board solicitor will take the lead in that, but I will be in touch with Mr. Pupio. He is our solicitor with the Pendelco School District with regard to that particular parcel. That, again, should be of interest to Borough Council, again, as there's a potential for substantial tax monies being reduced on that particular piece of property. So, again, we will keep council apprised. Third issue, again, I have received a recent notice from Verizon, who will probably be interested in scheduling a meeting with the council. Public would also be invited probably sometime in the fall to talk about the renewal of their cable television franchise. That cable television franchise is scheduled to terminate in 2023. I believe Verizon is presently the second largest cable television provider here in the borough. Obviously, Comcast is number 1. I believe Verizon is number 2. And then finally, with some news, I heard actually for the first time today that the mayor, after a very long and distinguished career in public service here in this borough is going to be leaving. Tom, you will be missed. I've worked with you as mayor, as member of Borough Council, as council president, as treasurer of the fire company. Our paths have crossed much in the last 20 years. And,
They certainly have.
Yeah, you'll certainly be missed. You bring a wealth of knowledge and history to the borough that simply cannot be replicated. So, again, I wish you and your wife the best of luck, good fortune, and good health in the future.
Well, you can rest assured, Counselor, that I will be pouring a gin and tonic on the fourth Wednesday of each month and getting on the YouTube and see how things are going.
Great. Yeah.
Aren't you just glad?
And with that, Madam President, I can report general progress.
Any questions for our solicitor? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have call to citizens. If anybody would like to address council with a question, would you please go to the podium, give your name and your address and what your question may be?
Hi, Judy Saunders, 62 East Chestnut. I actually have a question about the sinkhole.
I'm sorry?
I have a question about the sinkhole.
Yes.
If they send us a strike notice 30 years ago, and we are contending that it shouldn't be our responsibility because it's their pipe, will that end up being something in litigation? No, so right now, it's just arguing back and forth if nobody can give us something, if we're annoying enough about it.
What we've done, and what I've said to the representative of PennDOT is, we know what's going on under their roadway.
Right.
I've given him several synopsis about closing the road, which of course, you know, we can't do that, he says. Making it a one-way street. You cannot take SEPTA and a tractor trailer, even some of the larger triaxles through our streets. You can get maybe halfway through and then you're stuck. What are you going to do with them? Of course, they are always saying, it may be our road, but it's your pipe. And as Ms. Catania said, you know, there was an agreement in the 90s, but if, as I said to this gentleman, not being smart, but okay, it's your roadway, which isn't stable with all these heavy vehicles going up and down, of course there's going to be a pipe that breaks somewhere along the line in its old age. But, yeah, I don't know. We're looking at representatives to give us money. We're $100,000 short. We have $100,000 sitting, but the projection is $130,000 and up. And that doesn't include restoration, engineering fees, permits. I mean, there's a whole gamut of things that $130,000 doesn't count, so we're looking at $130,000 to $200,000.
Is that projected?
Oh, sorry, can I ask?
Please, it's call to citizens, Mr. Sidla.
Here's my question, because I noticed just where I work, I have to travel through Aston or Haven. I noticed that we're not getting had these little sinkholes showing. Aston has about 4 on my route. I noticed that it's over Haven, especially on the bigger roads, on the Edgemont Avenue, on some of the roads. Is there something that we should have been doing to maintain it, or is this something that's just, when it gets old, that's when you fix it? Again, we've had this discussion, I know nothing about sewers.
Just to clarify, number one, there are no agreements, and that's what, there are no agreements. PennDOT, someone from Harrisburg headquarters back in, I want to say 90 or 91, wrote what they call a strike-off letter. Doesn't go to the municipalities, it goes within the PennDOT system saying, PennDOT, we're not responsible for any of the roads. PennDOT feels because the water is from the municipal streets that are the municipal properties, and that's all of the properties, residences, etc., are going into their roadway. They have to get the water off. They discount the fact that the water is coming off of their road, and it's a safety issue, which is why you put storm sewer on a roadway to begin with, just for safety, okay? Interestingly, when we go to replace this pipe, we will have to have a permit from PennDOT, and they will do a review
I
of
remember you
all
telling
of
us
the
that
work
last
that,
time.
that needs to be finished. And they will require us now to sign an agreement that we will own and maintain that sewer system. So,
Okay, I asked another question. If we're signing off on that, does that mean we're signing off on all the?
anything within the road,
Within the borough?
they will,
On their road.
on their roads.
On their roads.
On the state highways. So if there's a problem with the grate, so the metal part that's on top, they'll fix that. But if it's the box or the pipe under the road,
They're like,
their hands off, it's
They're punches
a
out.
borough issue.
got it.
So, but to answer your question, typically storm sewers, in particular this type of storm sewer, over the years, it rusts, and the bottom rusts out of it, and that's where we are right now.
And it's funny that the gentleman from PennDOT equated us to Route 422, in which they had to close part of the road, and did I understand what a problem that could be here? And I said 422 is not in Parkside, so I don't understand that problem, but I do understand what will happen here if we have to close that road or make it a one-way, and it would be horrendous, and they don't want to see that.
May I ask, is there some way maybe we could put like steel plates over the part that,
They-
I just noticed they had those for Haven.
They have a steel plate at the,
What does that cost?
they have a steel plate over the one at Forest View.
Right.
That is sinking, so now what they do is put blacktop over that steel plate.
So there's already, okay.
There's a steel plate there.
All right, thank you guys. I have
You're
very little
welcome.
understanding of this, so I was trying to better understand. Thank you.
Does anybody else in the public wish to address council? If not, we're going to move forward to unfinished business. Unfinished business, we have the Hometown Hero Program status. Councilman Long?
Sure. Spoke to the, I don't know if you want to call it the printer or whatever, but everything's been sent. I should be receiving the banners in the next couple of weeks. And looking to have a dedication in October, and then as soon as Brookhaven gets their bucket truck, sometime in October, we're looking probably in November, looking for Veterans Day. Hope we have the banners on.
To get it done for Veterans Day.
And we have 28 banners going up.
Do you have a date for the dedication or not
I
yet?
believe October 23rd.
October
And it'll be
23rd.
here, I'm gonna contact the school to have it here in the parking lot. And each of the families will get 3 or 4 tickets because we're limited to have this done here in Borough Hall.
Will the public be able to attend?
I'm hoping, not sure how we're gonna do this with the refreshments and with
Okay.
the, having the dedication and all that. And it all depends on the weather too, because if we have it outside, if it rains, we're gonna have to move it inside somewhere.
Okay, and you can keep us posted.
Yes.
Thank you. Does anybody have any new business? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.